The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have signed a deal with the streaming service Spotify to produce and host podcasts, including a Christmas special.
Should we start? No? Ladies first?
No, say it, because I think it sounds really nice with your accent.
Will Spotify be the next place Meghan Markle and Prince Harry remove themselves from?
And of course, Harry and Meghan have to stick their beak in. There's never been a woke bandwagon they haven't tried to jump on, and now they're getting involved too. The Prince and Princess of cancellation, as you say, that's exactly what they're aspiring to be.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Exposing SMG. It's been a little while since we've talked about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, but as expected, these two are usually up to no good. I've never really talked about their Spotify deal on my channel, but I've elaborated about it on my blog. I'll link those tea-filled articles down in the description box. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe for weekly content, and follow us on our social media, Exposing SMG and Exposing SMG blog. Also, make sure to comment down below what your thoughts are about this whole thing. So if you don't know, Meghan and Harry signed a huge multi-million-dollar deal with Spotify in December 2020. Yes, that's right, 2020. The Archwell deal is worth a reported $25 million. Since the announcement, there's only been one item produced, a December 2020 holiday special that was 33 minutes in total. By my calculations, it is February 2022, so it's been over a year since they signed the Spotify deal, and yet no content has been produced. So why the hell did they get $25 million, and what have they been doing in that time span? We're going to talk about a few things in this video. Number 1, excuses made as to why no content has been produced, aka hiding behind the Joe Rogan scandal, and number 2, the accusation that Meghan and Harry are grifters who ran away with $25 million. And then in my next video, we're going to talk about Meghan and Harry having other companies do the work of producing and hiring, despite them having a whole company dedicated to that. So be on the lookout for that video because it's crazy. So let's start with the Joe Rogan scandal. Joe Rogan is the host of Spotify's top podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, and he's been facing a lot of heat for bringing on guests to promote controversial and potentially harmful ideas about the COVID-19 vaccine and the pandemic in general. Spotify is facing a lot of pressure as of late due to an open letter from 270 doctors, nurses, professors, and health scientists also raising concerns about pandemic misinformation on the platform and pointing to a recent Joe Rogan episode where his guest, Dr. Robert Malone, promoted unfounded conspiracy theories. I'm not here to discuss Joe Rogan, so that's the only relevant piece of information you need in order to digest this Meghan and Harry drama. So of course, in typical Meghan and Harry fashion, they are piggybacking onto someone else's scandal and thinking, how can I utilize this to right my wrongs? Because it wouldn't be Meghan and Harry if they weren't to appear overly woke and worried about the greater cause, whatever that is. So now, Vanity Fair published an article on January 30th saying, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle send Spotify a warning shot over COVID misinformation. And they're basically saying that they have expressed their concerns to Spotify according to a news statement. Yes, a news statement. Like I said, they like to capitalize on other scandals to make themselves look like modern-day saints. The Guardian writes that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said they are concerned about COVID-19 misinformation on Spotify amid growing outcry over Joe Rogan's show. Amid growing outcry over Joe Rogan's show. Suddenly, there's a reason as to why they haven't produced any content for over a year, but unfortunately for them, that reasoning comes a year and a month later. On January 30th, an Archwell spokesperson said, hundreds of millions of people are affected by the serious harms of rampant mis- and disinformation every day. Last April, our co-founders began expressing concerns to our partners at Spotify about the all-too-real consequences of COVID-19 misinformation on its platform. Okay, excuse me while I digest this information, and feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But according to this spokesperson, Meghan and Harry raised concern to Spotify back in April 2021, so 4 months after signing the deal with them. Personally, I don't believe they expressed any sort of important concern. I think that they used the pandemic as a reason as to why they never produced any content, despite the fact that the whole world has moved on to working remotely. Back in April 2021, there was no scandal surrounding Spotify and any misinformation of COVID. And even if there was, what is the relevance of that? There is consistent misinformation spread on every single platform, because that's what happens when you have millions of people using one platform. And it's delusional to think that everyone is going to believe the same thing. There is crazy misinformation on YouTube. Does that stop me from using YouTube? Same with Twitter, same with TikTok. So forgive me, but I can't see the point here. Also, it's funny how they're bringing up that they raised concerns back in April 2021 in the middle of the Joe Rogan scandal in January 2022. You know, the same time everyone is like, well, it's been over a year and you two clowns have produced absolutely nothing. Again, it just seems like they are piggybacking off another scandal to paint themselves in a nice light. And even if valid concerns were brought up in April, why was no action followed through? From April until now is a crazy amount of months, and yet again, no podcasts were produced. The Archewell spokesperson elaborates and says, "We have continued to express our concerns to Spotify to ensure changes to its platform are made to help address this public health crisis. We look to Spotify to meet this moment and are committed to continuing our work together as it does." So basically a whole lot of nothing. That doesn't explain why they didn't produce any content, and here's the kicker. They signed the deal in December 2020, and 2020 was a crazy year considering that was the start of the pandemic and misinformation was at an all-time high. So if you didn't have a problem with the so-called misinformation of COVID in December 2020, why do you suddenly reference it now when someone else is called out for it? And Spotify's response to this says that they removed over 20,000 podcast episodes related to COVID since the start of the pandemic, and that they are going to be adding a content advisory to any podcast episode that includes a discussion about COVID-19. But again, what does the pandemic have to do with Archewell Audio, the company that is producing these Meghan and Harry podcasts?
They've always wanted to control how people think, and they now see an opportunity to do that through Spotify, even though they've never even made any podcasts for Spotify. They got paid a lot of money for doing not very much at all.
I'm sorry, were they going to be talking about the environment and climate change and I had no idea? Also, if they really care about the cause as they claim, then they would have pulled out of their Spotify contract, just like a bunch of other celebrities did to boycott Spotify and show that they are truly against the misinformation of the vaccine. But oh no, what did the Archewell spokesperson say? Oh right, that they are committed to continuing their work with the streaming platform. This brings me to my next point. The accusation that Meghan and Harry are grifters who ran away with $25 million. Meghan and Harry are now under a lot of scrutinies as to why they haven't produced any podcasts after signing a multi-million-dollar deal. And to be quite frank, it does look like they're running away with the money. After they ran away from the royal family and claimed to want to live in blissful privacy, they did the complete opposite by signing a bunch of deals with a bunch of companies, appearing in interviews, televised events, and basically everything that was the opposite of privacy. And when accused of just leaving the royal family to build their own empire, they said that they are signing these deals as a means of income since no one is supporting them anymore. But now it just seems like that was a lie. They just want to build their own empire, but again, why scam everyone in the process? Personally, I don't think that they are going to run away with the money. I believe that's just impossible, considering that Spotify will probably sue them and they are contractually obligated to work. However, that hasn't stopped the media from making some viable points. The Mail on Sunday's Charlie Griffiths has since claimed that the royals have no plans on returning the money. Speaking to Palace Confidential on Mail Plus, Charlotte said, "I don't think they'll ever hand the money back, but I do think they can sort of hide behind this because it's been a good year or so since they actually released a podcast. Archie spoke his first words on their last podcast, so that shows us how long ago it was. I think if there have been delays behind the scenes, they can slightly hide behind this and use it as an excuse for another delay. I don't think they'll be handing the money back. I think they'll be hiding behind this for a few more months. Fox News talk show host Tucker Carlson dragged Meghan and Harry and called them out on the largest cable audience on US television. Tucker Carlson said that annoying fake Duchess from LA and her brain-dead husband threatened to walk unless Spotify muzzled Joe Rogan, but they're not going anywhere. These two grifters have a $25 million deal with Spotify for essentially no work. So far, we believe that they have produced just over 30 minutes of content. That means that these two have been paid about $1 million for each minute of talking they've done. That's a good gig. It's too good to leave. Yikes, no holding back there, huh? On a show called The Five on the same channel, host Greg Gutfeld said, "They're a bunch of deadbeats," and one guest, retired New York Judge Jeanine Pirro, described them as pathetic and irrelevant. And Dana Perino, White House press secretary under George Bush, said, "In America, nobody cares what you think." So it seems like Americans are joining the Brits in calling out Meghan and Harry for their facade instead of sitting around and defending them like everyone first did when they departed from the royal family. What do you guys think is going to happen moving forward? Make sure to stay tuned for my next video about Meghan and Harry and the drama that has erupted by them not hiring people through Archwell Productions, but instead hiding behind Netflix and Spotify. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have an entire Meghan and Harry playlist for you guys to binge, and I will be updating you guys if anything progresses about this topic. Comment down below what your thoughts are about this whole thing, and be sure to like and subscribe for more weekly content. And as always, I'll see you next time.